You ever get that feeling like something's off, but it's buried just deep enough that you can ignore it? That was me 3 days into a romantic trip to Italy. Honeymoon 2.0, that's how she pitched it. Hers was the idea. The whole thing. Florence. A boutique hotel with a rooftop terrace. Wine tastings. Art. Let's reconnect, she said. Just the two of us again. I didn't even question it. Maybe I should have. 12 years married. 2 kids. Mortgage, school runs, spreadsheets, late-night emails. The usual. We weren't perfect, but I figured we were fine. A little tired. A little worn down. But still a team. She booked everything. Hotels, dinners, even museum slots. I joked it was the most effort she'd put into our marriage in 5 years. She laughed. Said she wanted to feel something again. That should have told me plenty. But again, didn't question it. I brought the ring. Not a new one, but a reset diamond in a different band. Thought I'd repropose. Get a little spark back. I had this stupid image in my head, her crying, holding my hand across some candlelit table while street violins played in the background. Yeah, that was the version I had in my head. The real version? We landed. Checked in. Walked the cobblestone streets like tourists. She smiled. Touched my arm. Said she felt free again. I thought we were getting somewhere. That third night, I planned the dinner. Terrace restaurant near the cathedral. Reservation for 2. Sunset slot. I even ironed a shirt. She came out of the shower wrapped in a towel, said she was feeling a bit off. Maybe I'll skip dinner, she said. Just some spa time tonight. You go without me. No fight. No explanation. Just like that. I said, you sure? She smiled. I think I just need a night to myself. I told her no problem. Kissed her shoulder. Left her in the room. I didn't go straight to dinner. Didn't feel like eating by myself. Ended up walking no direction. Just wandered around Florence like some guy waiting for a sign. That's when it happened. I turned down this narrow street, quiet, tucked between buildings, and past this little cafe. One of those places with tall windows and too many candles inside. And there she was. Sitting at a table for 2. Laughing. Leaning in. Holding a wine glass in one hand and, God help me, touching the wrist of some guy with the other. I didn't freeze. I didn't freak out. I just stopped. Looked. Let it all burn in. She didn't see me. He was facing the window. She had her back to it. Dark jacket. Stubble. Probably early 40s. Looked like the kind of guy who orders in French just to hear himself talk. And her? She looked alive. Bright. Like she'd found a lighter version of herself and left the old one with me back at the hotel. I stood there for maybe 10 seconds. Long enough to confirm what I already knew. She hadn't just met this guy on the street. That wasn't a first date. That was familiarity. Rhythm. Inside jokes. So yeah, I turned and walked away. Didn't break anything. Didn't storm in. Didn't cause a scene. I just left. Back at the hotel, she was already there. Hair wet. Robe on. Reading on her phone like nothing happened. Hey, she said, glancing up. How was dinner? I smiled. Quiet. She nodded. I needed that spa. I feel human again. I just said, glad it helped. Got ready for bed. Brushed my teeth. Laid down next to her. She turned away from me, curled into the blanket like she always does. And I stared at the ceiling for hours. Not mad. Not crying. Just still. You ever have one of those nights where something in you flips? Like, not explodes. Just clicks. Like, okay. Game on. That was the night it clicked for me. She thought I didn't know. She thought she'd won. But she forgot something. I don't play loud. I play smart. The next morning, I woke up alone. She'd already gone out, said she was headed to some boutique museum she'd found in a guidebook. Left a little note on the nightstand. Cute handwriting. Little heart at the bottom. I stared at it for a while. Then tossed it in the trash. I played it cool. That whole day, I smiled when I needed to. Took photos of the skyline, bought her gelato, asked questions about the sculptures like I gave a damn. She talked a lot. More than usual. Like she was trying to fill silence that hadn't even formed yet. And I noticed something. She looked recharged. Fresh. Like someone who had slept like a baby and got exactly what they needed. Me? I was dragging. I kept yawning. My head was foggy. I figured it was jet lag, or the wine the night before, or maybe just emotional whiplash. But then it got worse. That night I passed out around 9. Deep sleep. Unnatural, heavy sleep. Didn't even hear her come back from her walk. And when I woke up, it was noon. My body felt like I'd been hit with a tranquilizer. Happened again the next night. And the one after. Each time, she was up early, bouncing around the hotel like some teenager on summer break. While I was fighting to keep my eyelids open at breakfast, I started tracking it in my head. Glass of wine at dinner? Gone. Cup of tea she made me before bed? Lights out. And she never looked surprised when I told her how hard I'd crashed. In fact, she'd smile. You've been working too much. Your body's just catching up. That's when something inside me started saying, don't let this go. So I started watching her closer. She'd turn her phone screen away when it lit up. She kept her charger in her purse instead of next to the bed. She started going for evening walks right after I'd conk out. And every time I mentioned how weird it was that I was so exhausted, she had some casual excuse ready. Like she'd practiced it. But here's the thing. I didn't confront her. Didn't show my hand. I played the part. Took her pictures in front of the cathedral. Bought her souvenirs. Let her think she was fooling me. And the more she relaxed, the more reckless she got. One night, I pretended to fall asleep early. Just laid still, didn't move. I heard her rustling around the minibar, making me tea again. Then, about 30 minutes later, the soft click of the door. Her footsteps fading. I got up. Looked at the teacup. Little white residue near the rim. Hard to see in the light, but it was there. I didn't drink it. I laid down again. Pretended to sleep. She came back at 2 a.m. Took a shower. Slipped into bed without a word. And I just laid there, eyes closed, heart pounding. That was the night I stopped guessing. She wasn't trying to fix our marriage. She wasn't here for us. She was here for him. Whoever the hell he was. The trip ended 2 days later. Back at the airport, she held my hand like everything was normal. Gave me a kiss before boarding. Smiled when I told her I loved her. And me? I smiled back. Because now it wasn't about wondering anymore. It was about knowing. And what comes next? That was going to be mine to decide. We got back to Austin on a Sunday night. Kids were still at her sister's. House felt too quiet. Too clean. She went straight into routine, laundry, emails, ordering groceries. Just like that. As if Florence was a dream she'd already filed away. I watched her. The way she moved. The way she smiled. Nothing was off. And that's what made it worse. That night, she was affectionate. Climbed into bed next to me. Kissed my neck. Said she missed being home. And all I could think about was the man in the cafe. And the tea. And how good of an actress she really was. Next morning, when she left for work, I sat down at the kitchen counter and started digging. Her laptop was clean. Too clean. Nothing on the browser. No saved passwords. No suspicious tabs. Her phone? No chance. Always on her. Always locked. And she had changed her passcode in Florence. Subtle, but I caught it. So I tried something else. I logged into our shared cell account. Looked at the logs. A few numbers showed up again and again. One of them, dozens of calls. Usually late. Always short. Didn't recognize the number. No name attached. I wrote it down. Next, I checked our joint credit card. There were charges from before the trip, restaurants she never mentioned, ride shares to addresses I didn't recognize. A wine delivery on a day I know she said she was working late. Then came the final nudge. I was flipping through photos on my phone. From the trip. And there it was, one of those shots she asked me to take in front of some fancy doorway. The reflection in the glass behind her. A shape. A man. Same jacket as the guy at the cafe. I zoomed in. Same face. Same profile. That wasn't some spontaneous fling in Florence. That guy had been with her the whole time. Just in the background. Waiting for me to fall asleep. I didn't say anything. I didn't slam doors. Didn't throw accusations. I did what I always do, I built a case. Quietly. Piece by piece. But I needed more. That's when I called someone I hadn't talked to in a long time. Tom Emerson. Private investigator. Used to be a cop. Now works quiet jobs for corporate guys going through quiet breakdowns. He owed me a favor. I cashed it in. Told him I had a number. A hunch. I need to be sure. He didn't ask too many questions. Just said, give me 2 weeks. I said, take one. While Tom worked, I kept playing my part. I kissed her good morning. I folded her laundry. I listened to her stories from work. And every night, I laid in bed next to her, staring at the ceiling, knowing the clock was ticking. Tick. 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 Tom called me on a Thursday. I was in the car, waiting for a meeting to start. I answered like it was any other call. He didn't waste time. Saw the guy. Got the name. Evan Crawford. 42. Independent digital consultant. Married. Lives 10 miles from you. I didn't say anything. Just let it sink in. He went on. You were right. He was in Florence. Flight records match yours. Checked into a hotel 5 minutes from your place. 5 nights. Checked out the morning you two flew home. I leaned back in the seat. Closed my eyes. Tom kept talking. He's not new. They've been seeing each other for a while. I pulled camera footage from a wine bar downtown. Same guy, same woman for months ago. Same car too. Hers. They were parked for an hour behind that lot off 3rd. You know the one. I knew the one. Also, Tom said you mentioned weird sleep stuff during the trip. I pulled pharmacy records. She ordered something online under a fake name, Lodos Salpetum. Common sleep med dissolves in warm liquid. Traceable if tested. He paused. You want a lab to test your blood? I didn't even think. No. Not yet. Okay. One more thing. He's married. Wife's name is Claire Crawford. Attorney. Family law. From what I can tell, she has no idea. I sat in silence. Then I said, find out everything you can about him. Work, contracts, clients. I want a full picture. You got it, he said. And that was that. I hung up. Sat there with the engine running. Evan. That was his name. The man behind the window. The man behind the wine. Behind her smile. Behind my back. He wasn't a fling. He wasn't a mistake. He was a damn second life. They'd been planning this trip together. While I thought I was booking romance, she was coordinating it with her boyfriend. Making sure we'd be in the same city. Same timing. Hell, maybe he helped pick the hotel. And the sleeping meds? That was the nail in the coffin. She didn't want me to just be tired. She wanted me unconscious. Passive. Out of the way. And I let it happen. For days. I laid next to her in a hotel bed, knocked out like a damn fool while she slipped out to meet another man. You want to know the worst part? It worked. I really believed that maybe, just maybe, she was trying. That she meant it when she said she wanted to find us again. Turns out she already had someone else. And I was just the luggage. I didn't cry. Didn't scream. I drove home, walked in, kissed her on the head like always. She was in the kitchen, making dinner. She smiled. Hey, babe. Hey, I said back. That night I lay awake for hours. Thinking. Planning. I didn't want revenge, not the emotional, dramatic kind. I wanted the truth. And then I wanted results. You see, there's one detail Tom gave me that stuck more than all the rest. Evan Crawford worked in the same industry I did. Same type of clients. Same pitch. Same networking events. That meant I could find him. I could track his work. And more importantly, I could take it from him. The first thing I did was pull up my old CRM. All my contacts, past and present. Every client I'd ever pitched, worked with, lost, or won. Then I started cross-checking. Took me 2 nights, but I found him. Evan Crawford, independent consultant. Specialty, process automation, ERP integration, digital transitions for mid-size manufacturers. In short, same damn thing I do. Only I do it better. He had a website. Basic. Professional. A photo of him in a dark blazer, arms crossed. That smug consultant smile like he was about to change your business and bill you 6 figures for the honor. What caught my eye wasn't the branding, it was the testimonials. 3 names I recognized immediately. 2 were old clients of mine. One I'd lost a bid on last year barely. All of them now his clients. It made sense. He operated just outside my network. We'd probably passed each other in inboxes dozens of times. I started making calls. Not as Michael Davenport. As a representative from a newly formed firm, a side project I created within 2 days with its own logo, email, and website. One that looked small but sharp. Agile. Modern. I didn't go after him head-on. I just did what I do best. I pitched value. I offered follow-ups for free. Audited their existing systems and found small but critical gaps. Gave advice that made sense. Spoke their language. Within 10 days, I'd secured my first win. A mid-sized plastics company in Oklahoma City that had been working with Evan for 8 months. I didn't even undercut him on price. I just outclassed him. The client didn't even hesitate. Said something about wanting a fresh perspective. I smiled. Told him I'd be honored to help. The second client was harder. Took 3 weeks. But once I got in the room with their VP, it was over. Evan had delivered late on 2 of the last 4 milestones. That was all I needed. I fixed one of their back-end data flow issues in under 48 hours. They signed with me the next Monday. 2 clients gone. A third one was still pending. In between all this, I kept playing the husband role. Dinners. School runs. Weekend Target trips. She had no idea. Hailai was still texting in secret, still smiling into her phone when she thought I wasn't looking. But I was. Every second of every day. Meanwhile, Tom kept feeding me updates. Evan was sweating. His revenue dipped. He'd recently been flagged in a client review for inconsistency in delivery. He posted less on LinkedIn. Tried to do a webinar that barely got 50 signups. I watched from a distance as his professional image started to wobble. And I didn't stop. I wasn't just taking clients. I was rearranging his world. Tom dug deeper into his finances. Turns out Evan had taken out a business loan last year, big one. Used it to scale. Hire 2 contractors. Rent a private office suite. And now the revenue that supported that little empire? Slipping out from under him. But I still wasn't done. I wanted more. Tom had also tracked Evan's wife, Claire Crawford. Mid-40s. Family law attorney. No kids. Professional, polished, busy? Tom said, "You want me to reach out to her?" I said no. I'll do it myself. Because some conversations. They need to be face-to-face. I met Claire Crawford at a cafe halfway between our neighborhoods. Neutral ground. Tom said she liked the place. Came there on Saturdays for a quiet coffee and to review case notes. I got there early. Sat by the window. No tie, no briefcase. Just a regular guy trying to hold it together. She walked in right on time. Blazer, black jeans, hair pulled back. One of those people who just look sharp without trying. I stood. She paused, looked at me like she was scanning my face. "You're the husband," she said. "I am." She sat down across from me. Didn't even order. Just folded her hands and waited. I didn't sugarcoat anything. I know about Evan and my wife. I've known for a while. I hired someone to confirm it. There's enough to prove everything: photos, messages, timestamps. She didn't flinch. I went on. "I'm not here to plead or scream. I'm here to hand you the truth. You deserve to know." She took a breath. Long, controlled. "I had a feeling," she said. "He's been distant. Protective of his phone. Same patterns I've seen a dozen times in courtrooms." I slid a folder across the table. Inside were 3 printed photos. All dated. Clear shots of Evan with Haley. Different days. Different places. 1 from Florence. 2 from downtown Austin. No arguing with any of it. She looked through them slowly. No reaction on her face. Not even a twitch. Then she spoke. "Thank you. For being direct. I figured you'd want facts, not drama." "You figured right." She closed the folder, slipped it into her purse like it was just another legal document. Then she looked up. "Are you divorcing her?" I nodded. "Not yet. But I will. I wanted to get all the pieces in place first." "Smart," she said. Then she leaned forward slightly. "Do you want me to help burn him to the ground?" I blinked. "Honestly? Didn't expect that." "I mean it," she said. "You want his contracts voided? You want him in court? You want him to explain all this on record? I can make that happen." I smiled. "Just a little. I've already started taking his clients." Her eyebrows went up. "Just a little." Like she was impressed. "Then I'll do my part," she said. "What does that mean?" "It means I'll file. I'll take everything I'm entitled to. And believe me, Evan signed a prenup that protects him from almost nothing. He cheats, I keep the car, the condo, the accounts, and his little home office in Westlake." She smiled. "Let's see how he holds Zoom calls from a Starbucks." I laughed. First real laugh in weeks. We sat in silence for a moment. Just 2 strangers in matching wounds. Then she said something I won't forget. "You know, some people never get this far. They find out, they cry, they collapse. But you? You moved. You didn't just react. You built something." "I didn't want revenge," I said. "I just wanted the truth to cost him something." She nodded. "Then I guess we're both about to get paid." We stood. She thanked me again. Said to keep in touch. Left without looking back. And me? I walked to my car feeling lighter. Like a weight had shifted. Not gone. Not yet. But starting to move. It started with the phone call. Client number 3 gone. A big one. Midwestern Logistics Company. Solid monthly retainer. I'd had lunch with their COO 2 weeks earlier. Talked process bottlenecks, workflow redesign. Nothing flashy, just solutions. That morning I got the email. "We've decided to move forward with your firm. Evan's been great, but we feel it's time for a new direction." I didn't even smile. I just replied, "Looking forward to working together." That made 3 clients pulled right out from under him. The foundation was starting to crack. Tom was still tracking him. Evan had downsized his office, gave up the private suite, moved to a shared co-working space in East Austin. Cheaper. Smaller. No windows. No assistant. Claire filed for divorce the next day. That part hit hard, apparently. Evan tried to negotiate. Tried to talk things through. She wasn't interested. She served him the papers with a list of demands that looked like a checklist of everything he ever cared about. Bank accounts? Frozen. Car? Titled in her name. Condo? Her prenup gave her full claim in case of infidelity. And thanks to the evidence I gave her, that word infidelity was now on the table. Documented. Legally provable. Tom said Evan had a meltdown in his car. Sat outside a client building for 40 minutes. Didn't go in. The next week, one of his contractors posted on LinkedIn about looking for new opportunities. Translation: Evan couldn't afford to pay him anymore. Meanwhile, I kept showing up like normal. At home, nothing changed. Haley was still pretending to be present. Still texting behind my back. Still looking me in the eye like I was too dumb to notice. But now I knew how to read the script. She wasn't in control. She just didn't know it yet. One night, she got dressed up. Said she had drinks with a friend from work. New lipstick. That perfume she only wore on special occasions. I kissed her cheek before she left. She smiled. Don't wait up. I didn't. She came back just after midnight. Quiet. Took off her heels in the hall. Slipped into bed like nothing happened. I lay there. Eyes closed. Still. And in my head, I pictured Evan checking his phone, waiting for her to text back, wondering where his clients went, why everything suddenly felt like quicksand. You know what the strange part is? I didn't feel rage. I didn't feel much of anything. Because I realized I already won. Not loud. Not public. Not with fists or screaming or scenes in parking lots. I won by erasing him from the inside out. By walking away from the table and taking the whole damn game with me. And he had no idea who hit him. She started noticing something was off about 2 weeks after the last client jumped ship. It showed in small ways. One night, we were cleaning up after dinner and she just blurted something out. Someone I've been talking to has been acting strange lately. I didn't look up from the sink. Just said, yeah. Yeah. Like, he's pulling away. Kind of distant. Canceled on me twice this week. I dried my hands, turned slightly. Work friend. She hesitated. Sort of. We've kept in touch for a while. Just someone I could talk to, you know. I nodded like I didn't already know every single thing about him. Maybe he's going through something, I said. Maybe, she murmured. Then added, still. It's weird. He's never like that. She left it there. Didn't press it. But I could tell she was bothered. She started checking her phone more. Scrolling quietly, frowning. Sometimes typing fast, then locking the screen like she couldn't send what she really wanted to say. And at night, I'd hear her sighing in bed next to me. Restless. Like she was waiting on a reply that wasn't coming. She was unraveling. Not all at once. But just enough to show. A few days later, I came home and saw her laptop open on the kitchen table. She was upstairs on a call. I glanced at the screen. Browser tabs. How to tell if someone is lying about their feelings. When someone pulls away emotionally. How to deal with mixed signals in a relationship. I closed the lid. Didn't say a word. She came down later, poured herself a second glass of wine, and didn't mention any of it. But she was quieter. Not cold. Just preoccupied. Because now her little secret life wasn't giving her what it used to. Evan had gone dark. Claire had cut him off completely. No calls. No texts. She'd filed. Locked him out of the condo. Took control of the accounts. And Evan? He was falling apart. Tom told me he'd been spotted working from a laptop in a strip mall cafe. Cheap rental car in the lot. Same guy who used to post motivational quotes about owning your time and six-figure clients. He was down to half a client and a LinkedIn post that got 3 likes. Meanwhile, I was up 3 new contracts. And 2 speaking invites. Funny how things balance out. At home, Haley started to shift. She got jumpier. Asked weird questions. Like, you've been pretty busy with work lately, huh? Or you're not seeing anyone, are you? I kept it straight. Just working. Why? No reason. She smiled. A little too hard. A little too fake. She was trying to figure me out. Trying to sense if I knew anything. If maybe I'd noticed her drifting. I hadn't noticed. I had proof. And I wasn't drifting. I was setting the stage. One night, she asked if I wanted to take a weekend trip, just us, she said. I said maybe. She nodded, didn't push. Then I saw her staring out the kitchen window, phone face down next to her, like she just received a message that didn't come. That's when I knew for sure. He ghosted her. Whether it was the pressure from Claire, or the fallout from his career crumbling beneath him, or maybe he just couldn't keep up the game anymore, Evan had tapped out. And Haley? She was stuck. Back in the home she tried to sneak away from. Back with the husband she thought she'd drugged and duped. Only now? I was 10 steps ahead. And every day I smiled at her across the breakfast table. She smiled back like everything was fine. Except now she was the one pretending. It was a Tuesday night. Kids were at Haley's sister's. House was dead quiet. Like it was holding its breath. She was upstairs folding laundry when I called out. Come down here. We need to talk. Tone flat. No hint. No emotion. She walked in, still holding a shirt. Saw the folder on the table. Paused. You okay? She asked. I pulled out a chair. Sit. She did. Slowly. Watching me. I looked her dead in the eyes. I know. She froze. I know everything, Haley. She blinked. No, what? About Evan. About the affair. About the trip. About the tea you laced every night. I let that part hang in the air. She opened her mouth, but I cut her off with a raised hand. You drugged me. Quiet. Controlled. You gave me ***T that could have messed with my heart rate, my blood pressure. Hell, you didn't even know how I'd react. You just wanted me unconscious. She tried to speak again. Michael, No. Shut up. She sat back like I slapped her. I saw you in that cafe in Florence. I didn't say anything then because I wanted to be sure. So I got sure. I got records. Photos. Messages. Bank statements. Browser history. Pharmacy receipts under a fake name. Still quiet. Still flat. But more than all of that, Haley. I got angry. And now you're going to hear how this ends. I reached down and pulled out the second folder thicker. Legal paper. Divorce documents. No negotiation. No mediation. No support. I keep the house. The cars. The accounts. Every cent. You leave with what you came with, which, funny enough, wasn't much. Her eyes filled. She leaned forward, voice shaking. You can't just take the kids. I didn't let her finish. Oh, I can. And I will. Tone dropped now. Low. Steady. Dangerous. You put sleeping meds in my system so you could sneak out and meet your boyfriend. You risked my health. You left the kids with someone you tried to chemically disable. I leaned in, voice like ice. Family court is gonna love that story. Her lips trembled. Michael, please. You're angry, but... No, Haley. I was angry. I stood up slowly. Now I'm something else. She stared at me like she didn't recognize the man standing in front of her. I hope you and Evan enjoy each other, I said. Maybe you two can shack up in some cheap motel with peeling paint and bedbugs. You wanted freedom? Great. Here's your future. She stood too now. Tears in her eyes. Reaching for something that wasn't there. I stepped around the table. Bent down. And said it quietly. Right into her ear. I'm going to ruin you. She didn't breathe. You'll never rebuild your client list. Never fix your name. Every contact you had, I'll poison. Every move you make, I'll see it first. I'll be there before you. Always. I stood straight. You wanted out? Now you're out. I grabbed my coat and turned toward the door. Behind me, she collapsed into the chair. I didn't even look back. The divorce went through in 6 weeks. My lawyer was ruthless. Didn't leave a single gap. Haley's lawyer tried to play nice at first, then gave up once they saw the evidence. Photos. Records. Drug logs. They knew. I wasn't bluffing. I got the house. The savings. The investments. Full custody during the school year. She gets holidays and 1 weekend a month. You'd think she'd fight for more. But after our last talk, she didn't have the stomach. She signed. Quietly. Didn't even look up in court. The judge looked at her once, that long look judges give when they've seen something they don't say out loud. Then stamped the papers. Done. She moved into a 1-bedroom rental 2 zip codes over. I know it. I picked the location. It's far enough from her old gym and yoga studio that no one bumps into her by accident. Claire sent me a thank you message after her divorce finalized too. Apparently Evan walked out of court red-faced and silent. Didn't contest anything? Didn't have the money to. She took the condo. His car. Half his future earnings thanks to a clever clause she slipped in before the wedding. Last I heard, Evan's consulting site was down. His LinkedIn says he's on sabbatical. Translation? He's done. Funny thing is, while I was gutting his business from the inside, mine exploded. The clients I picked up from him? They referred more. Word spread. One of my newer accounts introduced me to a corporate board. They liked how I worked. Made me an offer, partner level. Equity. Travel. Full control. I took it. They asked if I wanted a new title. I said no. Just let me work. I'll do the rest. They laughed. Signed the deal. So here I am now. House is quiet again. Kids are good. They smile more. I make breakfast every Saturday. Pancakes, no shortcuts. Just like they like them. Sometimes Haley texts. Polite stuff. She never asks for anything. And me? I never answer. You see, people think betrayal ends in an explosion. Screams. Broken plates. Curses. But sometimes, it ends with two people sitting in a room, and one of them finally understanding who the hell they were really married to. She thought she could drug me and cheat quietly. Build a second life behind my back. Smile through it. Now she can smile at Evan. If he's still around. Somewhere in a cheap motel. Wondering how the hell everything slipped through their fingers. And me? I'm just getting started. Hi. You made it to the end. Subscribe to the channel. Put a like and write a comment under the video. You're the best.